Welcome to the Soulard Technology Vanderbilt SMS training session. Today we'll be looking at System Manager, specifically for site codes and site code sets. To start, we'll open System Manager. And once this loads, we'll go to the left side and go to Site Codes. So from here you have site codes and you have site code by site code set. Site codes are a specific site code or facility code that is assigned to your fob or card when you order those. Keypad readers also have an inherent site code that are programmed into that card reader when you set that up. Site codes provide an additional layer of security to your system. When those are applied, the reader not only looks for the matching encoded ID to grant access, it also looks for the matching site code to grant access. So if you do choose to use site codes, you would set these up similar to holidays in the previous video on YouTube, where you would create a site code set. So up here we have a company site code set already created. We'll create a new one by hitting the plus and call it test and hit save and close. So that creates this test site code set. And down here at the bottom, we have the site codes that are in the system currently. So right now we have a 231 site code. If you wanted to add another site code, you would type in the description. You can have this be the matching site code number, or you can have this be, say you have a fob site code and a card site code that are different numbers. So you want to call this one the fob site code and say it is site code 13. We'll save and close, and that's going to create this site code down here. If you had a fob or a card site code, you could say card site code. We'll say that site code is 54, save and close. So now we have these two additional site codes added into the system. They need to be added to this site code set. So if you come up here and you hit site codes by site code set, you can see that the test site code set that we created does not have any site codes listed. If you hover over, select the company site code, you'd see that 231 that's already entered into the system. So to add those to these site code sets, we go back to site codes so that we can see all of the site codes in the system. And then we would hold down control, or first we would select which site code sets we want to apply these to. So we'll just add it to this test site code set. And then we'll select down here and hold down control for the 3 site codes. And when you select the last one that you want to select, continue to hold down the mouse and drag up to the white area in the top half of the screen. And you can see faintly that add site codes to test site code set in the top, and then release your mouse and it will say, are you sure you wish to copy the selected site codes to the selected site code set? You can hit yes. And now if we go to site codes by site code set, look at the test set, those 3 are in there. If you look at the company set, it is still just the 231. If we go back to site codes, if you just want to add one site code to this company site code set, you can just select it, click, drag to the top, release your mouse, and that will get added to that site code set. So that's how you create the site codes and the site code set. To actually apply these, you apply them at the controller level. So we'll go to hardware map and edit controllers, expand the SMS SIM and the SMS SIM port. These could be named something differently in your system. And then you open up the controller programming. So we'll go to controller 1, double click on that to open up the controller definition. And then here at the site code set box, we will select the site code set that we want to use. So we'll select the test set, hit save and close. This message will pop up if your controller has not been hasn't communicated with the system previously. This system is not a live system, so none of these controllers or interfaces are communicating. If your system is live, it is communicating, this box won't pop up because it can verify that it is a VRCNX-A board. Mine cannot, so I get this message saying, do I want to continue anyway? I'll say yes. And now this site code set is applied to that door. So you can apply different site code sets to different controllers. Just know that if the card, we have the test site code set applied to controller 1, which has all 3 of those site codes in it. It has the 13 site code, the 54, and the 231. So any of those cards with that site code and a matching encoded ID will work on controller 1. But on controller 2, we just have the company site code set, which, as we can see in site codes by site code set, does not have the fob site code that we created. So any fobs would not work on that controller because it would not recognize the 13 site code. And then again, with key, if you do have a keypad lock on the controller, when those are programmed, they do require a site code to be programmed. So you just want to ensure that whatever that site code is, that is entered in as well. Otherwise, the reader controller will not recognize the pin code that is entered because it does not recognize the site code coming from that lock. That concludes System Manager for site codes and site code sets. Please join.